All right, that's right. Don't be late to your own party. So we got like 5 minutes to go here before we're gonna go hop into a webinar for why you need an audiobook in 2025. I'm currently working on one right now. It's a good time. Love doing it. So yeah, thank you for joining me here today. Can't wait to go over why you need an audiobook, how we get you an audiobook, and then after about 20 minutes, we're going to hop back to me generating an audiobook for you. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Hope everyone has been happy and healthy. It is a chilly, chilly day here in beautiful southwestern PA. We're supposed to be getting about 2 or 3 inches of snow here. That's fun. I'm looking out at the driveway. I'm like, oh man, I have to shovel that again. I tell you, I've been living in this house for 3 years. This is like my third winter here. I have shoveled 10 times more times this year than I did the previous 2 years combined. It's crazy. We've gotten so much snow. So much snow. It hasn't snowed every day for 2025, but most days. I'd say a good two-thirds, 16 days into the year. But what are you going to do? That's just life, right? That's just life. 4 minutes left to go here. All right, there we go. Has anyone joined just yet? No, but that's okay. That's fine. We've done it. Oh, I don't have my book spinner going. Yeah, you like my I had to get rid of my Christmas decorations. 'Twas no longer the season. But yeah, we're looks good now. I'd like to get some other stuff here as well. How's this? Yeah, you can see that. That's much better. I hate to get up just to flick a switch. Get that book spinner going, but hey, that's fine. But look at all these other books that I have, though. I say one of these is an audiobook. It's not good. That's not good. We need to pump those numbers up. I like to see all these books as audiobooks, to be honest. I really would. I think the one I have there, can I look in the camera? No. Okay. The one that we definitely do, we definitely just did was the most recent Tin Lions book, Built to Win. I'm not a gym guy. I don't plan on opening my own gym. I don't plan on going to a gym for quite a while. I do most if when I work, well, yeah, if unfortunately, yeah, I know I need to get better at that. But when I work out, I usually do it from home. I have bands. I like to do some no impact training, get that cardio up, some DDPY. It's always a good time, but I learned so much about gym ownership alone just by listening to Tim Lyon's audiobook. That was a super interesting listen. What else we got? Oh, we also did Pate Muse, The Determined Life. He just went live on most publishers right now, which is super cool. Let me see if I can share my screen and pull up some people. I gotta be honest. I don't like sharing my screen here because I always feel like I'm being snooped on. That's fine. Share screen, Google Chrome, share. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. Here we go. The Termin like Pate Muse. Yeah, he's already up on audiobooks.com, Libro, Chirp, Google Play, Barnes and Noble, Apple, and I believe he's already up on, more importantly, Audible. I think is this Indian Audible? I'm not sure. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, we can find it. We can find it. Audible. Yeah, here you go. No. It is up on it. Yeah, the audiobook, The Determined Life, is up on. Audible, which is a good time. You love to see that. You love to see all the major players get approved and up and running. It's a good time. It's a good time for sure. Mike's in the waiting room. I got to let him in. All right. Do I give him permission or no? I think I should, right?
I'd say so.
I say so. Yeah, good time, right? All
Yeah.
right. Just let yourself in. I didn't click unmute or let the video go live. No, of course not.
Well, yeah, keep an eye on it because this is a meeting room, so people probably will come in later, probably 15, 20 minutes later. So, this is a short meeting, right? 40 minutes or less is what we shoot for.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, sure. Okay.
But just keep an eye on that meeting room. But yeah, thanks for letting me in, and let's get ready to rock and roll for everybody who showed up on time. If you're watching this live or if you are seeing the recording, a lot of people watch the recording because they're too busy for the webinar. But we want to
Yeah.
give you the outline of what it looks like if you were to go through with either creating it on your own or going through us. So, Dawn, if you want to kind of start this off and kind of run the show, tell us a little bit about who you are, what we do, and how we do it.
Sure. Yeah, of course. My name is Don. I'm from, again, beautiful southwestern Pennsylvania. It is too cold and snowy out here for me, but I have a varied background working. I've had work experience in schools and banks, but when this opportunity came across to do audiobooks, I had to jump all over it for sure. I mean, I spent a lot of time out on the roads of Allegheny County, just listening to audiobooks. Spent a lot of time commuting, doing the same thing. This is something I wanted to do, wanted to be a part of it. I said, let's, Mike said, hey, you got to do this for me. I said, absolutely, let's go. So that's exactly what we're doing here. That's a little bit about my background. But what I do here in oh my goodness, MDBA Dream Starters is I get the audiobooks up and running for you. We'll take everything from the beginning here, but I think before we do that, I like to go over uh, the benefits of having an audiobook. I did kind sort of update a PowerPoint here. Let me get
Okay.
that. Let me get that up and running.
Yeah, the questions that we get on audiobooks can range from the equipment that you use to how do you get it on Amazon? Will Amazon accept the AI recorded books? What about the sound levels? How do you do a thumbnail? It's some things that take a little bit of time, right? Sound engineering does take a little bit of time, but the other stuff is pretty brief. And there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Up and running. Yeah, I mean. It's a whole big thing. Some problems can range from like, oh yeah, we'll get this taken care of in 5 minutes to like, actually this problem could take several days to fix. But hey, we'll cross all those bridges. We'll check off those boxes and we'll get cracking here. Okay. First, I want to go over the benefits of having an audiobook. I know a lot of people out there thinking, look, my print book is already out there. It's out in the world. Why would I need an audiobook? Why would I devote
Paige, uh, Paige, real quick, just check your Don, check your internet. Is it okay?
I think so. I haven't had anything.
Yeah, just want to double check that you have good reception. You cut out every once in a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, just make sure you're connected not to Wi-Fi, but just to the maybe to the cable.
Okay. I hate to get up and leave right now.
Oh, okay. It's looking good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I haven't had
Okay. All right.
a disruption yet.
Beautiful. So I'll pull my camera to stop the bandwidth, but continue. I just saw a little cutout. So yeah, back to the show.
Okay, thank you. So some of the benefits of having an audiobook. First of all, it's portable. I kind of made reference to this to pointing out my new display back there. Uh, Look, I can very well easily take this onto a plane, okay, and have the same amount of, even more, probably 100 times more books on this thing than I can taking a pile of books like, I'm trying to pull up my Zoom here. Okay, no, I can't. Oh well, like the pile of books I have sitting behind me, which is about oh, 12 to 15 books here. Very portable. Uh, you just put it on your preferred device and you can just go. Also, you can multitask while listening to an audiobook. I know for a fact that one of my favorite things to do, well, actually, the things I hate to do the most is I hate doing the dishes. Absolutely can't stand doing the dishes. But I put on an audiobook, put on my earbuds, good to go. I'm set. I learned something. It's something to do while you're doing something, and I love that. It builds fluency, not just in the language sense, but in other topics. I was talking about this before we went live. I have no plans on starting my own gym or running my own business like that. But I was making Tim Lyon's book, and I learned so much about the gym business. And I feel like I am fluent with that now. I may not ever need to use that information, but if Tim Lyons wants to have a conversation to me about it, I can hang with that conversation. It also helps with accessibility. A lot of people out there are visually impaired or they're dyslexic. Audiobooks, cut that out for sure. It opens your book up to a whole new audience. Why limit yourself to just a print book? Have something else to go along with it as well. And also, uh, there even though there's no, I couldn't find any scientific backing to this, but it does offer the same benefits as reading. You're still taking in new information. You're still flexing your vocabulary. You're still doing the same thing as reading. You're just not sight visually seeing the word. Uh, and also, it builds brand and recognition. Whenever you have an audiobook in your voice, you'd be surprised how much people connect with that for sure. I do all these audiobooks and I talk to to our clients for about an hour or two at a time, but I can spend a dozen hours generating their audiobook, and I feel like I know them so much from just doing the audiobook rather than just talking to them for an hour or two. So that's why I these are the top reasons of having an audiobook in today's day and age.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a game changer. If you look at all the studies that shows that people are downloading books more and more. So give it 5, 10 years, more consumption than ever in audiobooks. So you got to have your book where people are at, and this is by far going to be the number one spot to be in. So yeah, it looks like you have some data here.
Yeah. So more than half of all Americans have listened to at least one audiobook. I do know that, well, actually, from the Audio Publishers Association, of those who have ever listened to an audiobook, the average was about 4.8 audiobooks in 2024, and that was up about a little less than one book from the average consumed in 2023. So that's, I mean, it's a growing medium for sure. Uh, the revenue for publishers' audiobook revenue grew 9% in 2023 to 2 billion. And it's continuing a trend of year-on-year growth. I say get in on this. Get in on this now. Don't be left in the dust. I mean, if this is a lifeboat, this is something that you want to get on. Get in on it right now for sure. Don't
Beautiful.
don't let this opportunity pass. Look, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago and right now. So you could be in the same position, you know, and at the end of 5 years, oh man, I wish I would have started my audiobook. Or you could say like, oh hey, I'm glad I started that I got my audiobook done 5 years ago. That's how I look at it. So
Yeah, and so my next book is coming out at the end of this month, and within 30 to 60 days, I'll have my audiobook done. I want to have it available because it's nice to see when you go to shop for a book, Kindle, paperback, hardcover, audiobook. And that's why you want to do it. I think I would recommend within a year of your book coming out, my recommendation is within 6 months of your book coming out. That way
mhm.
you have a push, get the bestseller status, and then push it again. So,
Super important that you get that bestseller status first. Yeah.
yeah, no doubt. You wanted that social proof. And so let's say there's somebody out there watching this right now who has their book done. Where do they begin? We talked about using AI, and there's a lot of hesitation with that. How do you get the voice dead on? I don't know if it's dead on just yet. It's close,
It's
but
very
it's
close.
it's
Yeah.
close, but it's not 100% dead on.
No,
I
it's
read my first book. Well, I actually had somebody else do my first book called Attractive Story Selling. That was my first audiobook. Then I read my own, which is $1 Million Book, and it was very difficult. It took me 30 days, probably an hour or two each day. It was really hard. I will never read my own book ever again. So it's either I'm going to hire a professional to do it, like a Dawn, or potentially a voice actor, or using AI with Dawn. So that's the pathway we take for all of our audiobooks now. So every book that we go through now, I'm using AI and I'm using Dawn to do it.
mhm.
So, if you are out there and you're saying, "Man, I want to read my own book," you can. You can rent a studio. You could do so. There's nothing stopping you. You still need an engineer. You still need a few things when you upload to ACX, which is the portal to upload to Amazon's Audible. But let's say they come to us and they want it in their voice using AI, which is going to save you an immense amount of time, you personally a lot of time. Where do they begin, Don?
I adding on top of that, I wrote my book years ago in hopes that I would do an audiobook. I've barely I worked on this for about an evening and I barely got into the meat and potatoes of the book. It is very complicated to go and read your own audiobook. Yeah, there's a lot of equipment. Uh, you also a lot of people don't think about this, but your voice has to remain the same or at least consistent while reading an audiobook. And to do that for hours at a time is very difficult. So that's why we like to use the AI. But going back to your question of where do we start? Well, we like to start off with a meeting. We like to set the expectations and the time frame. But more importantly, I want to get a good sound for your voice. I want to know how your voice sounds, uh, like the feel of things. And then after that, we need voice samples. Excuse me, I hit the microphone there. We need voice samples from you. We'll need about 3 to 5 30-second clips of you speaking. Now, I do have scripts here. The most important thing is we get a whole bunch of different range of sounds, of phonemes, of you saying different words. Like one of the sample sentences that I like to have here is the quick brown jump. I'm sorry, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I want a lot of sounds in there that are common in English, so the AI has no problem generating those sounds. It's not guessing. We won't run the risk of any artifacting. So that's super important that we have that. Okay, 3 to 5 good sounding audio clips, and how these clips sound is how the book is going to turn out. So that's super important. Uh, we're going to ask that you don't read it off, don't record off your iPhone. Don't do it outside with the cars driving by and birds chirping. We need a nice, quiet area. A great place to do this, believe it or not, if you can get the setup for it, a closet. A closet would be a great place to record. It's already treated. A lot of the clothes would dampen the sound. It is a great place to record. So just go ahead and think
Great
about
point there.
that.
Yeah. Put it somewhere where there's not that much noise hindrance, I guess. It is put it in somewhere where it's really close to your face and the sound will bounce off the walls really close to you. That's great.
Yeah, my setup would not be good for that. But Mike, you have a lot of those soundproof tiles. That would be a primo place to record for sure. Once we get the voice samples from you, that's when we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna generate everything in 11 Labs. Okay, we're gonna generate a voice sample using your voice, and then once we get that, we'll send it over to you. Hey,
Can
how
you
does
show
this?
the website? Can you just show 11 Labs? That's spelled like the number 11. So 11 Labs. If you just want to do a share screen,
I think I
you could do
can.
this yourself, guys. I spend $350 a month on 11 Labs. So there is a price to it, and it's not 100% just put it in and then it's done. There's some maneuvering that Don has to play with, but you don't have to
Yeah.
do that if you hire us. So you could do it yourself. It's just you have to listen to your entire book.
Yes, for sure. I know when I was doing my print version of my book, I read that thing dozens of times. So it was just nice to put it down and not think about it for a little while. The, there is a sort of a sense of fatigue when you're writing your own book. But when it comes to the audiobook, passing it off to someone else to get it done, that's also a good feeling as well. But yeah, this is 11 Labs. We're gonna go ahead and look at the voices here. I don't want to play anything because I'm not sure if we have permission to.
Yeah, you I don't know if even if you can do it, but yeah, so there are a bunch of names in there that we are using their audio, their audio clip, and it's gonna run through. And I would say, I always ballpark it's 95%, right?
Yeah,
90 to 95% spot on. That you have to have some leeway to say this is not what, because it's not you, right? There are certain things that you say that AI is gonna get close, but it's not gonna get spot on. So just have the right expectations.
yeah. You'd be surprised how some of the common issues that I have with 11 Labs. It can't read numbers well. I have to write everything out in long form. Um, and when it gets hung up on something, I mean, it really gets hung up on something. One of these sample sentence, an example here, I was working on a paragraph that ended in the word no, N-O period. Simple, short sentence, no. It kept coming back as number. 11 Labs kept pronouncing that
Wow.
as number, because that's the abbreviation for the whole word number. No, no. So there's some wand waving that we have to do there to fix that.
What
Uh,
about
but
the like
but we
the
got to
yeah,
fix.
numbers are tough, like you said with million. Do you remember it was like 100,000, 100,000? Like it was reading it really weird before.
Yeah, like a 1 million is 1,000,000. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. So
exactly
be
what it
careful
is.
with numbers. Good point there.
Yeah, and we like to. The technical term is called artifacting as well, but I like to call it AI demons because when the generation of your book goes wrong, I mean, it could fall off the rails quick. There could be echoing, repeating of words, words that aren't even there. Trying to think of what else. Some of the common issues are really mispronouncing words. The book that I'm currently working on right now, there's been times where some of the paragraphs has been coming back in whispers. Now there,
Wow.
yeah, which is kind of crazy to think about, and I do have a workaround for that. But I have the experience. Mike has the experience of those kind of workarounds. But if you see that, I mean that could really hinder your process if you try and do this yourself.
Nice. Okay, so stop sharing the screen there, and maybe if you kind of once you go through 11 labs, Peach, um, you get the files. You get them as MP3s. Is that right? Or do you get them as what are they? What's the final file?
The final file, let me double check here this real quick. They are
Are they? I would assume they're MP3s, or they are. It's what is it? Dot win something.
no,
You get
they are MP3s. Yeah.
MP3s. Okay. So you get the MP3s, and what do we do? Do we do a quality check? Do we send it to the client as after chapter one, chapter two? They sign off on it. We do the rest of them. We get all the files, and then what happens?
Well, we usually send out a chapter, but once we generate the sample, once they sign off on the sample, I mean we're good to go. But once the audiobook is generated, we send it off the Fiverr for mastering. And I thought this would have been an easy thing to do. It is not. I do have this here as a slide This is all the requirements for Authors Republic. So all your audio files that you have to fall within these guidelines. MP3 file format, the bit rate no higher than 192, the file size. Okay, so a lot of these things are basic, but the real trick here is 11, the points 11, 12, and 13. That's really hard to master and to have it sound good. You really have to put that in the hands of a professional. Uh, Once you get through the work of doing your own audiobook, if you do take that route, um, I mean, you're out of the frying pan and into the fire once it comes to mastering your audiobook and making sure that it's okay for Authors Republic. It is so strict and is so stringent that I thought I was like, oh yeah, I can teach myself how to do this. No, I'm still working on that, and that's been months at this point. So, but I just want to let you know why it's super important to have your audiobook, once it's generated, sent out to Fiverr for mastering. Okay?
Excellent. Yep.
Okay.
Send out to Fiverr. How much are you going to spend?
It's about $40 an hour.
So for every finished hour, is that right?
Yeah, for every finished hour.
So let's just say it's 4 hours. You're talking about 160 minimum.
Just about, yeah, just about. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the average. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, that's the average. But we haven't had a problem with our engineer and files being bounced back on Authors Republic. At least not the audio files. One of the problems that I do see common, and I feel like this is important to bring up. We've had have this problem before. They're also super strict on the cover. But the cover, that falls down on me, but it's about a 5 minute fix. Just keep an eye peeled for any emails saying immediate attention required for Authors Republic. And then it'll list very, very simply, I was like, oh, cover's not in the right file type or something. That's on me. I do apologize in advance. But as a quick fix, I'd much rather have the cover art bounce back than anything wrong with the audio for sure. That's super important. Okay. But the mastering the files could take up to around 7 to 10 business days. But once we get the audio files, we're already good to go to get posting on Authors Republic. Okay. Now I should really rewind the process here for a little bit because while I'm generating the audiobook, we'll need you to get Authors Republic set up. Okay. Now, I like clients to work on this while I'm generating the audiobook. So if there's a delay with getting Authors Republic set up, we can at least meet halfway when the audiobook is finished mastering. This doesn't take that long. I talked to one client. He said he did all this in about an hour. Some clients have still yet to get back to us on this, but we'll need you to set up Authors Republic. Uh, Signing up for Authors Republic is very easy. It's just like signing up for any other website. However, when it comes to getting your audiobook published here, they do request some information. More commonly, they'll need a W-9 form, a state issued photo ID, and then an email that is attached to a PayPal. Okay. I did make a YouTube video on that. So if you do have questions about that, just let me know. I can send you that video. Follow those instructions. You get uploaded and ready to go. So when your audiobook is done, uh, the reason why I want clients to do this as soon as possible is like, you know, this is a very easy fix. It could take about an hour to do if you really hoof it. I would hate for this step in the process just to hold everything up. Your book's done, and meanwhile, if we're just waiting on for you to take a picture of your driver's license, I would really hate for that to slow down the process here of getting an audiobook done or and posted and uploaded because there is a little bit more of a process after that. Okay. But once Authors Republic has all this information, once our files are looking good, we get everything uploaded. It does have to go through a review process on Authors Republic. That could take about a day or two. However, uh, I should really explain what Authors Republic is. Authors Republic is a one-stop shop for audiobooks or uploading audiobooks. We upload the audiobook once, it goes out everywhere. It goes to Audible, it goes to Chirp, it goes to Barnes and Noble, Google, Apple, several other sites as well. I believe I have a list. I do not have a list. Um, I think I do have a list. Let me see if I can find that real quick. But it offers about 20 different online retailers. Oh, excuse me. But it does offer about 20 different online retailers for where your audiobook can go. So that's why we like to use it.
Yeah, so it's very much like a Buzzsprout. If anybody's familiar with the podcast world, if you upload it to Buzzsprout, it'll eventually go to every distributor, iTunes, Spotify, Google Books, that type of thing. So, or Google Play, I guess that's there's all kinds of different podcast distributors, but many of them.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Authors Republic does for your audiobook. So rather than it just go to Amazon, it'll go to iTunes, Spotify, Google Books. It's a one-stop shop and it is amazing. The reason why I recommend it, especially if you're using AI, is because ACX, which is the portal for Amazon to upload your audiobook, will most likely reject it directly if you upload an audiobook using AI to ACX. But if you use Authors Republic, they're a trusted source. You can get things approved much easier.
Mhm.
So if you're using AI at all, please use Authors Republic.
Yes. And I do have a list here. I do have a list of all the sites that your audiobook will be on. Now, each of these online retailers, they have their own separate way of reviewing audiobooks. But we haven't had anything bounce back from these individual retailers, but Authors Republic would also help us on that if that were to ever happen. Okay? Yeah, a lot of good sites here as well, and some of the growing ones. I like Chirp is one that I'm seeing. Audiobooks.com, believe it or not. I mean, that's been kind of I type in an audiobook that I'm searching for. This is kind of like one of the top sites that pop up as well. So that's really cool. That's really cool to see.
Yep.
Uh,
And here's what happens then. You become more Google friendly. If you
mhm.
type in my name, Mike Fallett, it will pop up with a knowledge panel, and that knowledge panel is linked to Google Books. So you want your name everywhere, and this is one way of doing that.
Yeah, it's great. And then once everything is looking good on Authors Republic, and once it's looking good on these on individual online retailers, it's done. Your audiobook is up there, it's live, it's posted, and it's out there in the world. Congratulations. I'd say it's a little bit more involved in getting your book done because we'll need you to make the Authors Republic account. We'll need you to generate voice samples. We'll need you to uh oh my goodness. To sign off on the sample, make sure that it sounds good. I say it's a little bit more involved in doing the print book. I understand that the print book has, several interviews to go along with it. But this I feel like requires just a little bit more uh, individual, a little bit more specific work rather than just being interviewed. I just want full transparency on that. But man, to be honest, when it's all said and done, I mean, look at what you get in the meantime. I mean, you get an audiobook that's done and it's out there. Yeah, Audible, Chirp,
Oh, the German
Lib.
wellness that you're telling me Pates is up there now.
Oh yeah, his has been up there for I think when he asked about it, that is when it was live, believe it or not. Yeah.
That's great, Pate. All right, perfect. So that's the final product. It's all over. And
Hmm.
if it does get rejected, like you said, for the most part, it usually is rejected for things like a thumbnail, right? The actual
Yeah.
picture. That's a little bit of an adjustment, and that takes 5, 10 minutes on our part. But that's something that could slow things down.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pressure point to be sure. But it's not the end of the world. It's not like, oh my goodness, my computer crashed and I lost all the audio files. I need to generate this book again. Nothing like that, knock on wood, nothing like that has ever happened yet. But that's the general idea of it. Whatever can go wrong, it's like Petrie's Law. Or it's no, it's Parker's Law. Petrie, I don't know who Petrie is. Some
Uh,
Eastern
it's uh,
European.
it's what? No, it's Murphy's.
Murphy's Law. Well, actually, no, my law is whatever can go wrong, we can fix it for sure.
I like it.
That's yeah. That's the trick of that. And then, we'll when it comes to like there's no like bestseller push to this, unfortunately. It's not as scientific as Amazon is. We're not looking for the right category to get your book in. This is just a matter of we're gonna get your book on these sites. We're going to make your book available, and then we're going to increase your brand and your recognition. That's really what we're looking at. Hi, Barney. I just I just noticed him.
Barney's joining us today. He thinks it's 2 o'clock for dinner or for
Oh,
lunch, but he's mistaken. So he's gonna hang out with us. We talk audiobooks in the next couple minutes here. But just to recap, guys, that is the flow. And typical process takes about 30 days to create. Okay. Why I
mhm.
say 30 days is because if we want to set the right expectations that if there's an issue, it might take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So 3 weeks, the reason why is because Peach, when you give them a sample based off of the equipment that you have, whether it's a Shure SM7B, an SSL2 interface, whether it's a Blue Yeti or something on your phone, there might be a little bit of back and forth to make sure it's dialed in. All right. And if you get that right location, like he said, maybe it's in a closet, maybe it's somewhere where it's really good to do your sound checks, then it might be a little faster. But once you get that sample, he takes it and he'll go to 11 Labs. He'll feed 11 Labs your book, which will be a Word document. I think it's a Word document, right,
It
Peach?
is a Word document. Yeah,
Yep. He feeds it and then goes through and listens to your book all the way through. Somebody has to listen to your book. That's still time consuming. So you're thinking, wow, this if it's AI, it's probably going to be $100 to do all this. Somebody has to go through, listen to it, and make adjustments every step of the way if adjustments need to be made.
yeah,
The benefit is still in your voice. That's the magic phrase. It's still going to be in your voice. But once it goes through there, that may take a week to 2 weeks. Now, let's just say it takes 2 weeks to get it dialed in. You have all the files. You hand it off to a person that's on Fiverr or some engineer. They're not sitting there and they're gonna say, "Well, I'll just do it today." It might take another week to 10 days.
yeah.
So now you're talking about 24 days, 25 days. So the finished product, we believe, will take about 30 days. So now you have the finished product, you upload it to Authors Republic, and now it's in a third party's hands, which may take another 30 to 45 up to 60 days to be everywhere. Did I nail that, Peach?
That is the long and short of it. Yes.
Okay, so that's the process, that's the time frame, and what are the costs associated? So if you were to do this on your own, you're gonna have to spend for 11 labs for sure. You're gonna have to buy your
Yeah,
own equipment. 11 labs cost $350 minimum per month. Okay, so now you have to buy that and a Fiverr or engineer. Typically, the average book 3 to 4 hours, so at least $160. Might take a little bit more based off of taxes and all the tipping and all that. So let's just say it's an extra 200. So if you were to do this on your own, you're probably spending at least $500 to $700 in my opinion. Okay, with everything out the door. And you would have your time. The average time that you spend on a Peach, what do you think? For every book, is it 10 hours? What is it?
I say it's about 10 to 12 hours. Yeah,
10 to 12 hours. So, and that's what he does all day. He's the audiobook guy. So, 10 to 12 hours of you playing around with it, adjusting it. And so that's why if you were to go through us, okay, Depending on the time of year and all that, what we are offering right now is if your book is under 35 or 39,000 words, I don't know where we're at right now, but 35,000 words, we can do this book in a matter of 30 days for you for 1,800 bucks.
That's a deal.
Yep. So if you are interested, please reach out to us and let us know when to begin. But that is not going to last because there's going to be other stuff that comes down the pike and we'll probably increase those prices. But this is sort of a way to get this audiobook division up and running. So we want to make it as easy as possible for you guys to get your audiobooks done so you can use it the right way. Now, the one step further that Peach is really not involved with, but I recommend this audiobook you use as a lead magnet. How do you do that? Well, in your audiobook, maybe you have some call outs that are within the book. Hey, go to this website, check out what I'm offering here for this webinar, for this apparel, for this service, for this consultation. That's one way. The other way is, hey, if you fill out a form on my website and you schedule a time with me, I'll send you a private link that I used YouTube for. Take the files that Peach gives you, upload it to YouTube, turn it into a video, make it a private link, and then give your audiobook away to anybody who does X, Y, and Z with you. Consultation, stays to the end of a webinar, or buys something from you. And now you're using the audiobook the right way. They listen to your voice, they hear it for many hours, they get to know, like, and trust you, and it's a smart way of generating leads. So that's what I've done. My book is definitely a lead magnet, and I can tell who listens to it. I can see the data go up, and I want people to listen to me rather than even read my stuff. Audiobook's the way to go, but this is the easiest, most effective and fast way of getting it done with your voice without you having to read it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's branding too. I mean, how many people think they know Joe Rogan because they listen to his podcast, dozens, hundreds of hours worth of content. You never even been in the same state as Joe Rogan, more than likely. That's the power that audio has. It's so personal. It just comes across that way that you think you know these people, and instead of Joe Rogan's voice, why can't it be your voice? Why can't people feel that connection with you?
That's it. Yep. And there's a guy named Jonathan Rivera we've worked with on his book. He's a podcast developer, and he says that podcasts are like pre-selling yourself. Why is that? Because if they listen to you, it is one step to trust, right? Familiarity, I think is the best way he put it, was they're familiar with you. So whenever they meet you in person or jump on a call or whatever, it's like they know you already. And the more you listen to somebody, the more you feel like you know them. You could do that with your podcast, but you could do it with your audiobook. So get it done however you see fit. Therefore, you can grow your brand, grow your business, grow those opportunities. And I know that we have 1 minute and 40 seconds left before this
Yep.
webinar ends. So, Peach, anything else you want to say or a way to get in contact with you?
Well, you can also get in touch with me. I would prefer email. Let me go ahead and let me pull up my email real quick. That will be audiobook.managermdba@gmail.com. I think
Yep.
I can go ahead and throw that in the chat here real quick. But
And then
that would be
also you can, reach out to us via email or text message and just say, hey, I want a link to schedule with Peach, right? We call him Peach, but his name is Don Parker. Peach is he's always been known as Peach his whole life from what I understand. So we ain't messing with that. So if you want to jump on a call with Don Parker, Peach, get things going, maybe you just have some questions based off of what you've seen here in this webinar, we're here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna talk about how great audiobooks are for like the last minute. I think so. What's your favorite audiobook so far?
Outwitting the Devil
Uh,
is my favorite audiobook of all time. So
that was really
that
good.
would say yep, Outwitting the Devil is my favorite. And then I guess maybe my own selfish reasons. I love my book, Never Say Die, that was done in AI because of you. So that's my personal favorite because it's so close to me, that book.
See, I like a lot of the fiction stuff. So I thought Jurassic Park narrated by Scott Brick was done really well. Another Scott Brick book was In Cold Blood, even though that's true crime, still really good. And don't think like it's like, oh, I need a fiction book, I need a book about business to do this. Really. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Zoom kind of cut me off there. But the point I wanted to get across was, yeah, don't feel the need that you have to have a nonfiction business, self-improvement, how-to instructional guide for an audiobook. Really any book that you have, we can turn into an audiobook for you. I mean, this was my book was an autobiographical story. Mike described it as a documentary. I thought, how cool is that? I've still have got to turn this into an audiobook still, but like I still plan on this on becoming an audiobook. I mean, don't worry about that. I mean, for sure. Right now I'm working on a children's book becoming a an audiobook. We're gonna have music and sound effects, and it's gonna be really engaging for kids, and we're excited to be a part of that growth. So if you do have any other questions or concerns, you can reach out to my email here, right there, because editor me is going to throw that email in. Look at that. He did such a great job, huh? Editor me. Love you, babe. You're the best. But yeah, send an email out here. We'll get a meeting going. We'll let you know where we stand on your process for the audiobook. And yeah, we'll get this done for you. We want to get this done for you. For sure. I mean, don't like I said in the webinar here. There's two good times to plant a tree. 20 years ago and right now. Get your audiobook started now so you can have something to share, something to have, later down the road, as opposed to the opposite. Oh man, I wish I would have started sooner. This is we're reaching out. Get started now. Get your audiobook started now. But this is where we're going to end it. I do appreciate everyone being here today. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, be safe, and get your book done.